April 25th, 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars are about to shatter 70 years of NFL history. But this isn't just about one draft pick. This is about a war. A war the football establishment thought they'd already won. For 7 decades, the NFL had one unbreakable rule. You play one position, period. Then came Travis Hunter. He didn't just break that rule, he obliterated it. And they tried everything to stop him. But what's the truth? Well, it's way more shocking than you think. Hunter didn't just become the NFL's first two-way star in 70 years. He exposed the system that made sure it would never happen again. Until now. But first, let me tell you about the kid who almost never got the chance to prove them wrong. Let's go back to Sewanee, Georgia, 2003. A 5-year-old Travis Hunter is playing in his first organized football game. His coach puts him at quarterback. His mom, Carrie, watches from the sidelines as her son throws for 3 touchdowns. Next week, same coach moves him to running back, 4 rushing touchdowns. Week 3, wide receiver, 5 catches, 2 scores. Even at 5 years old, Hunter was different, but the system was already working against him. Pick a position, coaches told him by age 8. You need to focus. Hunter's response, why can't I play everywhere? His mother still remembers that moment. I knew right then my son was going to challenge everything they believed about football. Let me take you back to where this war really started. Chuck Bednarik plays his final game for Philadelphia. Concrete Charlie, the last true 60-minute man. But here's what the history books don't tell you. Chuck wasn't the last great two-way player because evolution made it impossible. He was the last because the NFL made a calculated decision to end it. When Chuck retired, the NFL had a choice. Keep the tradition alive or create something entirely different. They chose control over tradition. Think about it. Specialized players meant bigger rosters, 22 starters instead of 11. More coaches needed, more scouts, more positions to fill. The system wasn't changing the game. It was creating an entire industry around the idea that players couldn't do multiple things. And it worked. By 1965, the two-way player was extinct. But the NFL didn't just kill the two-way player. They created mythology around why it had to die. Players are too big now, too fast, too specialized. Every year, the myth grew stronger. Every generation of coaches passed it down like gospel. By the 1980s, even suggesting a player could go both ways was career suicide. There were rebels who tried to break through. Deion Sanders played some receiver, but even primetime was kept on a leash. 16 offensive snaps in 1996, his biggest two-way season. Champ Bailey tried it in Denver, 3 games before coaches shut it down. Troy Brown in New England. A few defensive snaps here and there. The message was always the same. This is cute, but it's not sustainable. Each failure reinforced the system's narrative. See? It doesn't work. Players can't handle it. It's too risky. By the 2000s, the wall was complete. Playbooks were 300 pages long. Position groups had their own coaches. Specialists had specialists. Two-way players weren't just discouraged. They were considered impossible, dangerous, reckless. Then came a kid from Georgia who didn't get the memo. Travis Hunter is dominating high school football in ways nobody had seen. Collins Hill High School, Hunter plays cornerback and wide receiver, full-time. Week 1, 8 tackles, 2 interceptions on defense, 6 catches, 127 yards receiving. Week 2, 10 tackles, 1 pick 6, 4 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. College scouts were confused. Which position is he? They would ask. Both, Hunter would say. I'm a football player. By senior year, Hunter was the #1 recruit in America. Alabama wanted him as a cornerback. Generational defensive talent was what they called him. Georgia pitched him as a receiver. You could be the next Calvin Johnson. Clemson wanted him to pick a position in college. Focus on one, master it, then maybe we'll talk about the other, was what they said. Every blue blood program had the same message. Choose your future. You can only play one position. Hunter had a different plan. December 15th, 2021. The announcement that broke college football. Live on ESPN, the #1 recruit in America points to his hat. Not Alabama, not Georgia, not Clemson, Jackson State. An HBCU program most people had never heard of, coached by a guy who hadn't coached college football in 30 years. The college football world went ballistic. He's throwing his career away. Jackson State can't develop NFL talent. This is a publicity stunt. ESPN's talking heads couldn't hide their disgust. Someone needs to talk sense into this kid. But Hunter wasn't making an emotional decision. He was making a calculated one.
Me being the first recruit to go to HBCU was real good for me.
Deion Sanders had promised him something no major program would. The freedom to play both ways. Full-time, no restrictions. Coach Prime understands what I'm trying to do, Hunter said. Everyone else wants to put me in a box. The establishment figured they'd contain the threat, but they were about to get schooled. Let's go to the 2022 season. It's Hunter's freshman year at Jackson State. Game 1 versus Florida A&M. Hunter gets 5 tackles, 1 interception, 4 catches, and 73 yards. The systems experts were watching. That's cute, they thought. Let's see him do it against real competition. Game 5 versus Southern. Hunter gets 8 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 catches, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. All of a sudden, the experts were paying a lot of attention. By the end of the season, he had final stats that shouldn't exist. 57 tackles, 4 interceptions on defense, and 57 receptions, 721 yards, 9 touchdowns on offense. But the establishment had an excuse ready. It's FCS competition. He'll never do that against Power 5 players. Then Deion Sanders got an offer from Colorado, and Hunter made a decision that terrified the system. He was coming to the Power 5. August 2023. Hunter arrives at Colorado. The establishment sharpened their knives. This won't work in the Big 12. He's about to get exposed. Pac-12 receivers will destroy him. Sports Illustrated ran a cover story. The two-way experiment that's doomed to fail. ESPN analysts made their predictions. Hunter will be forced to pick a side by October. The criticism wasn't just about football, it was personal. He's selfish. He's hurting his team. Real players sacrifice for the good of the program. Then week 3 happened. Hunter got hurt. A lacerated liver. Sidelined for multiple games. The establishment pounced like vultures. See? We told you so. This is what happens when you try to do too much. The human body isn't designed for this. Medical experts were paraded on TV to explain why two-way players were biologically impossible. Sports scientists published studies about fatigue, injury risk, and recovery time. The narrative was coordinated and brutal. Travis Hunter was a cautionary tale. For most players trying to make it big in the NFL, this would have been the breaking point. The moment they conform and pick a side. But Hunter isn't most players, and he came back even stronger. The 2024 season was a declaration of war against 70 years of football orthodoxy. 92 receptions, 1,152 yards, and 14 touchdowns on offense. But defense was even crazier. 32 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. These were numbers that broke every assumption about what was possible. The critics fell silent, but the establishment wasn't done fighting against Hunter. December 14th, 2024, the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York City. For 90 years, this award went to specialists, to quarterbacks who threw, running backs who ran, and receivers who caught. Travis Hunter obliterated that entire concept. Not only did he win the Heisman, he became the first player in history to win both the Chuck Bednarik Award for Best Defensive Player and the Fred Biletnikoff Award for Best Receiver. Oh yeah, and this happened in the same freaking season. His acceptance speech wasn't just a thank you, it was a manifesto. They said it couldn't be done. They said I had to choose. They said my body couldn't handle it. They said it was impossible. Tonight proves that the only limits are the ones we accept. The establishment was in crisis mode. But they had one last weapon with which to fight back against this upheaval to the normal course of things, and that weapon was the NFL. As draft season approached, the Whisper campaign intensified. Mock drafts projected Hunter as a cornerback only. ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. was definitive. No NFL team will risk a top 10 pick on a gimmick. Former NFL executives lined up to explain why. The speed of the NFL game is different. Recovery time between plays. Salary cap implications. Todd McShay went further. Any team that drafts him to play both ways will regret it within 2 years. The conventional wisdom was unanimous. The NFL would force Hunter to choose. But behind the scenes, something else was happening. One NFL executive was studying tape, crunching numbers, and running scenarios. Jacksonville Jaguars GM Trent Balk was about to make the most controversial decision in modern NFL history. And that's also when Hunter dropped the bomb that changed everything by stunning the world when he said, "I'd rather quit football than only play one position." Now let's fast forward to April 25th, 2025, NFL Draft Day. The Jacksonville Jaguars had the 8th pick. Travis Hunter was still on the board at pick 2. What happened next shocked the football world. Jacksonville traded up. They gave up their first-round pick, a second-rounder, and a future first to get Hunter at number 2. But here's what nobody expected. The press conference afterwards wasn't about Hunter choosing a position. "We didn't draft Travis Hunter to play cornerback. We didn't draft him to play wide receiver. We drafted him to play football, both sides, full-time. We're not asking Travis to choose. We're building our entire system around his unique abilities. This is the future of football." The ESPN draft analysts looked like they'd seen a ghost. Jacksonville wasn't just talking. They restructured their entire philosophy around Hunter. Incentives for receiving yards and interceptions. Bonuses for touchdowns scored and prevented. Playing time guarantees on both sides of the ball. Recovery and training protocols designed for two-way play. They hired specialized trainers. They built custom practice schedules. They redesigned their entire playbook. This wasn't an experiment, this was a complete organizational commitment. Across the NFL, other teams were scrambling. The Green Bay Packers immediately started scouting two-way college players. The Kansas City Chiefs restructured their practice schedules to test the concept. The revolution wasn't just coming, it was spreading. While the NFL establishment was panicking, something bigger was happening at the grassroots level. Youth football coaches across America started getting calls from parents. "Why can't my son play both ways like Travis Hunter?" High school programs that had forced specialization for decades suddenly found themselves allowing players to develop on both sides of the ball. At IMG Academy, the most elite high school program in America, they restructured their entire recruiting philosophy. "We're now actively looking for two-way players," said their head coach. The Hunter effect changed everything. College programs followed suit. Alabama, the program that wanted Hunter to specialize, started recruiting two-way athletes for the first time in 20 years. The next generation was being raised on a completely different philosophy. Limitations were optional. May 2025, Jacksonville rookie minicamp. For the first time in 70 years, an NFL team designed their entire system around a true two-way player. 40 snaps on defense, 40 snaps on offense. The 50-50 split that experts called impossible. But here's the economic genius of it. In a salary cap league, a player who could fill two premium positions, cornerback and wide receiver, would create unprecedented value for a franchise team. Hunter wasn't just breaking football rules, he was breaking the economics of team building. Fast forward to August 2025, the NFL preseason games. This was the moment of truth. Could Travis Hunter actually dominate at the highest level of football? In Game 1 versus Miami, he had 2 interceptions, 5 catches, 78 yards, and 1 touchdown. In Game 2 versus Tampa Bay, Travis had 1 pick six, 4 catches, and 92 yards. In Game 3 versus Atlanta, he had 6 tackles, 7 catches, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The numbers weren't just good, they were historically unprecedented. One by one, the critics fell absolutely silent. Mel Kiper Jr. publicly admitted he was wrong.
He'll probably be really good or great both ways. So while he's young, he's going to play both ways. Wide receiver, predominantly at Cleveland, sprinkle him in at cornerback.
Todd McShay called Hunter a generational talent that broke our understanding of football. Sports scientists began studying Hunter's training methods. Medical experts revised their theories about human performance limits. The establishment that spent 70 years building walls around positions was now desperately trying to tear them down. Hunter had proven that the limitations weren't physical, and they weren't biological. They were mental, systemic, and completely optional. Today, youth leagues across America are changing their rules to encourage two-way play. College programs are restructuring their recruiting to find the next Travis Hunter. NFL teams are studying Jacksonville's model, wondering how they missed something so fundamental. But the real revolution isn't happening in boardrooms or on practice fields. It's happening in the minds of young athletes who now understand that the only rules that matter are the ones you're not supposed to break. And Travis Hunter just proved there aren't many of those left. They said it couldn't be done, Hunter reflected after his first NFL preseason. But they were wrong about what was impossible. What was impossible was stopping someone who refused to be limited. He didn't just break the rules of football, he rewrote them. The establishment spent 70 years convincing everyone that limits were real. Travis Hunter proved they were just afraid of what happened when someone refused to accept the limits. Hey, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button and check out this one next.